everybody. I just want to share, this one will definitely be brief. I have been working with, as I described in my last video, one agent running other agents with loops. And one of the things that really flagged in my mind here is that loops solve a problem of continuity. You've got a chunk, make sure, then update, then tidy things up, all your documentation, commit and push, loop, start again. But it still doesn't address the context window. The context window still lapses auto compacts, So if you look at what the trajectory of performance is, you're going to drop off and then you're going to come back up. And then you're going to drop off and then you're going to come back up. So I thought, okay, I know there are tools that help automations like N8N, and I've become familiar with N8N a while back, but quite frankly, I sort of left it, and now I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have. What I did was, oh, not you, there we go. What I built, or sorry, that's a misnomer. What I did was I just had Claude Code install N8N locally and install the MCP with a full understanding and version and discussion around what it can do and how it can help me. So now what I'm going to do is, can you also create a subfolder with a plan to build an automation that will watch coding instances, and then I'll have the coding instance stop at reasonable chunks, and when this N8N system sees that it's paused, it goes in, types in compact, and then types in carry on with the next chunk. Let's see what it does with that. It can't hurt, and it seems like that's the logical next step. Make sure you do some research, formulate this plan to account for things that I clearly will have missed and account for things that need to be added. I always have to have it double check me. I have great ideas. It has all the knowledge. My ideas, its knowledge, and then my project controls and project management control is what I'm leaning on to keep things effective and efficient. Go. So while that's going, I will pop back up here and let you know again what the principle is behind this. N8N runs automations, and I know some of you know this, but I know that there's a lot of people who come to this channel because I'm not a coder, I'm not a coding engineer, I'm not a programmer, and neither are you, likely. If you are, make sure you comment and let me know on more efficient ways. There's something that understanding how the tools of AI, I always refer to it as augmented intelligence, not artificial intelligence. Yes, it's getting closer to artificial, but realistically, it's still trained on our knowledge. It's still the next level. It finds patterns. It's very clever. From what I understand, it doesn't particularly invent new things. It has, but en masse. You can't write rules for the exceptions. You have to write rules for what you're, and by rules I mean rules of thumb, for what happens en masse. Then while it goes through, and it's constantly augmenting your intelligence. If you are a coder, it's going to augment that. And then you just elevate yourself to that program manager level where, there's times where I'll sit here and I've figured out that I need to leave one build per screen. If I have multiple builds on a screen, the flipping back and forth is not really conducive to my focus and my ability to pause, check everything, okay, execute next. So that being said, I have 5 screens right now. I have 2 on order, but 5 screens, 2 laptops. I can make sure that they're all going. And as a coder, you can look at what's being compiled and what's being read out while it's thinking, and you'll be processing it so much faster. So there's a lot of value to that. People like me, I like to think of it as I go into something that's relatively new, and I go into it with a bit of a brute force, as my father used to say. You want a little bit of brute force and ignorance, just bring Adam along. And I'll do that so that I can learn and push, and I don't mind tripping, scraping my knees, and getting back up and carrying on. So the coding side of it, I'm learning to understand. There's the difference between knowing and being familiar. I'm comfortable being familiar because I know the next level of project controls, project management, and governance. Governance is something that I generally intended to start this whole channel based on. However, I probably don't bring it up enough because sometimes I take it for granted with my new build agent that farms all that out for me. I go in probably once a week and have a quick discussion. I log in through Codex and use, well, as I always use, VS Code, and have a discussion. All right, let's do some research. Let's check the 3 main files: governance, engineering best practice, and deliverable code / completeness. And we sometimes revise it, sometimes we don't touch it. I don't want it to turn into an overwhelming beast and all of a sudden even your agents aren't able to freely act and do things that are within their scope. I'm going to take a peek here. Let's see. Okay, it is still working. Because I think what I asked it to do is fairly substantial. This is not your run-of-the-mill, hey, just, when you reach a form, type it in. This is going to have to take a whole bunch of work. Anyway, point being, I wanted this to be a very quick what you can do with these powerful tools. I, as always, appreciate any suggestions, any ideas. Post them down. If you're getting value and know people who might want to share in this, click like, click subscribe, and share it with somebody. If you're ever at my GitHub repo, go ahead, take what's there. I've got quite a few decent tools at various stages. I want to share them. And I also want feedback again. Put a star there if you took it, because then I at least have an understanding of which of them are making the most positive impact on people. And if you can reach out, send a message, communicate, let me know ways of improving. That is really where I think the collaborative magic is. So thanks very much, everybody. And I'll get back to you with how this plays out. When this works, I'm going to be pretty darn pleased with that one too. Thanks.